Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us for this evening's edition of HR Mentorship Learning Series. My name is Oluyemi Adeosho, and we will be looking at the topic from exhaustion to engagement, HR strategies for combating burnout and boosting employee vitality. I'm happy to welcome, for the first time as a facilitator on this platform, Sheun Odumusi, and I would like to introduce him very quickly. He has sent his very brief profile. He's an HR personnel at Alot Nigeria Limited. And in addition to this, he's a dynamic HR and corporate services professional with strong expertise in human resource operations, quality management, system compliance, and also organizational development. He is skilled in streamlining processes, enhancing efficiency, and fostering high-performing workplace culture. He also has experience across professional services and corporate environments. Sheun leverages data, technology, and people-focused strategies to drive business growth and deliver measurable value. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking to us on the topic from exhaustion to engagement, HR strategies for combating burnout and boosting employee vitality. Let's welcome Sheun Odumusi. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much, for that. And also, good evening, everybody. And also, glad to be part of this. Always we've seen it, and I've seen it as a platform for learning and also sharing ideas. It's a pleasure also being here, and also thanking everybody that's joining. I know due to the stress in Lagos and everything, and also wherever you are, also finding time to join. Going forward, so in this presentation, we would like to cover this, understand what burnout look like, also to explore the causes and the consequences, and also, to define the HR role in this, and also what can we do, what can we implement so that we can have a better work culture environment. If For example, both of us who are social media freaks and like, so if you notice, there's this current skits of Shege, always, most of his skits always, displaying what the work culture is saying. And they say in every joke you will always find the truth in it. And you go to the comment section and everybody is saying, oh, it's true, like you're really telling the truth. And this, my boss called me to open my laptop when I'm supposed to be sleeping, and this. And not only that, in every space you're going to see that mostly in every organization you go, you always have complaints of this and this. And so this evening we will try to see how best we can understand what burnout is and how we can also improve it. So today, if we look at the world we live in, and you will notice that we are living in a very fast paced environment. There's more demand in the organization. Whenever you go, there's always demand fast. They want it fast. But what are the controls put in there? Then you also have technology. Now, 24/7, you're either on your laptop or you're either on your phone, either you're sending message. Then even by the time you get home, you still open your system. And also we have shift toward customer growth, funding insufficient. You want to have trainings and everything, and the companies will tell you, oh, there's no money for this, there's no. Also, what are the work support you have in your organization? So also you have conflict and so on and so forth. You also have low passage. Then you also have life after COVID. Since the event of COVID, we've had so many organizational changes. You have people who do shifts, you have people who do day and also night work. Then you also have hybrid and so forth. So, and when we look at the reality of what it is today, according to research and also data, provided, he said 57% of Nigerian workers experiencing daily stress in their job, while 69% are actively seeking new employment. despite already being employed. You employ somebody today, and within 1 or 2 weeks, he had seen something that does not align with what he or she believed the company had branded when they saw it. And while they are working too, they are sending their CVs. And you'll be wondering, this person that just resumed, how many months? It has not taken up to 3 months. The person is already sending application to another way. Why? Is it you may find it that either the pay is not even okay. Even when the person had agreed to the salary when you join the interview, this is how much we are going to pay you. And by the time it gets to the office, you say, what the work that is on ground and what the company wants to pay me, I don't think is something that I can. Or you're coming from a very far place, you didn't do your calculations, and by the time you employ, you almost say that even the money you're collecting or the rewards you are getting from the organization is not even enough, it's not sustainable. It cannot even take you up to at the end of the month. And we all see these kids. By the time the money comes in, everybody says the money as it's coming in is going out. You get. So that is what we are facing in today's world. And it is very disheartening and it is not pleasing, especially as an HR person. When I see this, it also pains me, and we see how best can we do this? How best can we improve? How can we engage this employee so that as we are doing our part, he or she is also able to do his part willfully and happily. It reflects the reality of many workers, even though employed, they remain underpaid and struggle to meet financial obligations. Then we also have burnout among health workers. The research says in the health worker, 84.3%, prevalence among resident doctors. Also implicated are prolonged working hours, numerous work shifts and sleep deprivation. When they get to their office, to the clinic or the hospital, they are treating, you see this person gave up while treatment, the trauma, the emotion they go through when they see the patient they are treating also unable to make it. Then you also have academics where they have research of Rivers State, high stress. You see a lecturer taking up to um two different levels and so many students in the hall, and you are trying as much as possible to pass real information to these students and also to impact them. You are giving assignments, you are doing research, and it's not very easy. So due to this, it causes high stress among even lecturers in school, and also it also happens in other industries today. So for during this, you can see what the reality is. Almost saying, I think this is Vanguard. If you look at it, May 27, 2025, and also September, you can see that it is really prevailing in our society, and it is not a thing of joy to watch, right? 20 million Nigeria, that is almost like 23% of the population of Nigeria. They are going through mental issues. And we also have brain drain. Our experts, they are leaving the country because they are seeking greener pastures, because the workload is too much. One person is doing 5-person job in the organization. And this has caused a lot of it has affected the mental health of employees, in the industry. And so we want to look at what work-related stress is. And so according to World Health Organization, they said workplace stress, also known as work-related stress, refers to the negative experience people get when presented with work demands and pressures not matched to their knowledge and ability. So the challenges, they feel the challenge stretched with the ability to cope and master things. At times, when pressure from works are managed well by an individual, it can result in peak performance and be stimulating and also motivating. In this instance, an individual may find that they are more alert, right? They also engage, and the ability to both work and learn is enhanced. So not all challenges is actually stressful, only some. And why do we have that? We experience challenge so that a certain amount of pressure over a certain time frame is actually a positive thing, because when you're on a walk and you're learning in the process, and but it really have to take your time for you to be able to get those things right. So that thing we can say, yeah, the training I'm going through is really stressful. It's really, but it's actually impactful. So in that aspect, we can see stress in two ways: is in a positive way and also in a negative way. But it can also become negative way when we know that the pressure becomes excessive and it is unmanageable. It can lead to negative effects, especially for individuals. It does not only affect him, it also affects the colleague he or she is working with, because he or she will also pass what he or she is going through, to the next person. And in work-related stress, we usually have two keywords. Sometimes some people put it together. They say, I'm stressed out, and we also would say, I'm burned out. So we would actually want to define this definition of what work-related stress is. We have stress and we also have burnout. And we will actually be looking at burnout because that is the main, theme for today. And so we said stress, is over engagement. When in the organization you're over engaged in your work, so it refers to your body natural ability to respond to internal and external pressure. And why burnout is detachment. You get to a state, it affects your mental health. You are emotionally tired, you're drained, you don't know what to do. You get to that point that you are like, God, how do I find myself in this place? How did I get to this junction of my life? How did I get myself to this in this point of my career? For example, I will use a testimony of myself. I've also gotten to that level, and I remembered when I was going, I think my last job before I actually left. You propose many initiatives, and they'll tell you that it cannot work. And okay, let's do this. Tells you it cannot work. And that is one of the disadvantage we have, especially when you're working with a one-man business, other than a structure where you have processes and everything along. And and one day I was going to the stairs and I sat down on the stairs and I put my hand on my head. I was like, God, just take me out of this place. I felt like this is not me. This is not who I am. When you get to that, you're detached. You don't have any idea of what you want to do. You've tried all possible best, but there is no way forward. So that is the level you get to. You're burnout. You're out of ideas. And how do you feel, especially in stress? You feel there's an anxiety, there's a mood swing, you know, and but in burnout, it sometimes it leads, especially your mental health. You have hypertension, you're mentally depressed, you're impatient, things are seeming irritable to you. When somebody talks, it's like, when you have goosebumps, your body is not, it's something that is irritating to you. You don't even want to hear it, you don't want to see it. But when you come to stress, you can see you are fatigued, you're tired, but in burnout, you have this chronic exhaustion. And even in stress, there is loss of, motivation and all, but, in burnout, it affects you physically. It affects you physically. You are there. People will see, they'll come to you, Hore, what is wrong? Talk to me. Even you yourself, you won't be able to explain it. And that is what many people these days are facing. Some people are looking for who to talk to.
Is it my network or our facilitator's network? Can we hear him?
His network.
No, we can't hear you.
His net-
Okay.
Then we have some signs, and what are the signs here that you're going to actually see? We have, you know, presentism, we have absenteeism, we also have leavism, and some of these keywords, it affects you, especially in the organization. And when you say presentism, what does it mean? It actually means, a situation where workers go to work despite being sick or tired. It affects their productivity and their work level. Somebody, you're not feeling well, or that there's nothing you can do, maybe based on the job you're doing, and you go to the office, and you carry out your work, and but your mind, your body is just so tired, but you just have to go there. And sometimes this also affects the level of productivity in the office. And also we have absenteeism. And what is absenteeism? We said it is an unplanned absence, due to sickness or other causes. So you know that I cannot make it to the office, but because of what I'm actually done, I'm ill, and so you have to be absent. And leavism is when you take leave, but during your leave period you're also working, and you people, you are even wherever you go to take rest, you'll be like, bros, are you not on leave? And you be like, I don't tire, and you be, what is going on? You're on leave, your boss will call you, hey, Sean, please help me send. Because by the time you tell them I'm on leave, they'll say, who is paying you? And so much, so things like this, most people are facing it in the organizations. And we also see this also to people display it on skits. They act the video for you. Everybody is, my oga, I'm inside Maran. Or open your laptop. Where are we now? Can you see my screen? And and things like that. When you're supposed to be resting, you've taken time off from work, and still you're also now working again. And this is why most people are not actually feeling the fulfillment, especially during agreement, and say, okay, your leave is your leave. And that is why you have people in the office you hand over your work to. And so this is actually the reality in we are facing in this real world. Then we also look at the signs. It said it affects you psychological, and it also affects you, physical. And when it affects you psychological, you're depressed, you're having psychological distress, you also procrastinate. The things that you're supposed to do, you won't be able to do it. You will be procrastinating. I will try and do it maybe in the evening. I just need to rest. And by the time evening comes again, you're also not energized to do whatever you want to do, and you keep on. Okay, but and the physical signs, you have headache. I remember that just the recent skit too said, oh God, I saw 20 something paracetamol on the table. Say I left it for you to tell you how it is. You know, you're leaving the work, you're already having headache. You're also facing the stress on the road, and by the time you get home again, you're also opening your laptops to continue where you stopped at the office. And this is not good, which actually affects the mental health of our employees. Even we as HR too, we also face this too. So let's look at this according to scientific research, and we have this research out where we said 57% increased risks was workplace greater than 2 weeks. And also we have increased risk of depressing disorders. You have type 2 diabetes, increased risk of, and you know what that means when someone says he has a type 2 diabetes, hypertension. and and we said additionally workplace burnout, they impair short-term memories. Your attention, you don't have that attention that you're supposed to have or supposed to give, and other things that is actually going to affect your productivity in the office. So we're going to look at the strategies. What are the strategies as HR personnel? What can we do as HR people in the organization, to help this out. And so we have key roles to play as HR. We have to work with our bosses, our team leads. We have to work with the managers of the organization. We have to work with the stakeholders of the organization by identifying and also giving the road maps in helping, making sure that each of the staffs are being, enrolled into for training, for health plans. You do the HMO, make sure that all staffs are registered for the HMO so that when they are sick, they have means of accessing ways of them getting treatment, and also means of engaging, because we need to engage our employees. We need to engage the staffs, which are also our colleagues, because if you don't engage them, you cannot know what they are facing. And you also have to, most times we don't, some of us, especially due to the roles we have, you don't liaise directly with the employees. Some we follow it through the managers of each department. And so we have to even train the managers. This is the way you're going to do. Form of communication, so that the staff, everybody can have a goal in addressing, employee well-being in the organization. And burnout, we said, is a complex issue that requires multifaceted approach. There is no one way in dealing with burnout in an organization. We have to try ways, in preventing this happening, and making sure that the culture of the organization is well done, so that when people come into the organization, they are happy. When they are coming into work, they are happy. While they are working, they are also happy. And when they are leaving, they are happy. And they have this sense of fulfillment that they've achieved something today. And so that tomorrow they can also be happy coming back to the office to give their best. But when it is not, the culture of the organization is nothing to write about. They know they are coming to face a boss who is going to lash at them, who is going to shout at them, who is not ready to listen, who is going to say, "Get out of my office." It is something to watch out for, and also to, hey, this is not where, even you as an HR, because you're a promoter of good working environment, you have to know that this is not actually what this place have to look, and we have to, develop some plans to this. And what are the things that we can do? We said by promoting work-life balance. When we say work-life balance, the time to work, there's time to work, and also the time to relax. There's time to, most of us in our letter of employment, we have the hour working hours there, and we also have we also put it your time for break. But I don't think some organization do that. You're working from morning till evening, and the only time you can have break is, okay, I look at my time, this is afternoon, I feel I'm hungry, I want to get something to eat. Is it possible for us to have in this organization a collective time for break, where everybody, it is 12, this time for lunch, nobody is working, even though we are trying to measure that, okay, we have some deadlines to meet, understand? But can we actually put in place that, hey, as much as possible, let us at this point, everybody, please take a break. Go and have lunch. You have 1 hour recess time. Use it very well, so that the next 4 hours you have, or 5 hours you have, you can also be refreshed to put in your best into whatever you're doing. And also, like I said, you foster a supportive work culture. You also foster a supportive work culture, because where there is open communication. You know that as an employee, you're free to talk to your managers, you're free to talk to your superiors, you're free to talk to your line manager. You have a communication channel where everybody can giving opinions and suggestions in the ways they can improve their work. HR can also promote this and also provide training and resources. Training and resources is actually very important because a supportive work culture is essential in in preventing this and addressing burnout. So, and HR empowers employees and managers with trainings and resources, to recognize and manage stress efficiently. So these, I think, in our most organizations, they have HR engagement plans. We have culture day, we have football match, we have this. It's very good in terms of training. We now have to create in training for how to manage your well-being. Because I know in my organization, what I do is every quarter or so, I liaise with the HMO people. You're coming in to talk about anything relating to health. You're coming in to give training to health. You're coming in to take our blood sugar. You're coming in to do a test for everybody. You're coming in to do training. So this helps the employees. They even ask more questions. Oh, I'm feeling this. Sometimes when I'm walking, my eye pains me. What is the best way I can do? And these are people, they are doctors. They can give best advice, especially maybe we HR. Most of us may not have come from medical background. I know there are some people who studied medicine and everything, and they also for the before a lot before they come back into HR roles, into HR jobs, you know. And so these two, we can also provide training in managing our well-being, managing our mental health, and also bringing in people and facilitators to help train people and also provide resources, provide toolkits, provide first aid box, provide first aid box that will contain things that will help, maybe pains, headaches, and things like that. Then you also have to do regular checks in and feedbacks. you know, Check in between the manager and the employee, can identify early signs of burnout and provide opportunities for intervention. The HR can also encourage managers to have meaningful conversation with their team members about the workplace, about their workload, about their expectations, about their career development goals. Constructive feedback and recognition of accomplishments. It can also boost morals. It can prevent feeling of being overwhelmed. You go with the manager, hey, hi manager, Mr. This. How is your staff doing? How are your team members doing? How is the workload? Are they able to balance it? Are they able to manage it? Do you have anybody among your team member that is feeling overwhelmed about their work? Okay, this person who is overwhelmed, how best can you manage this situation? If it is either you need to share the workload with the colleagues, things like that can help. And it will also make the employees to feel like, oh, you belong to this organization. Truly, this company or the organization, they really care for me. And before you know, the staff or the employee will be willing to share anything that is of burden, even personal things that is affecting his life. He or she can feel free to go to the manager. Hi, Mrs. Taiwo. I think I'm feeling this way. How can you help me? This way, in my former place, I purposely and I intentionally, I go to those departments and they say, hey, HR, what are you coming to? Sometimes when they see me, they quickly close their laptop. I don't say anything. I just look, and I'm just checking on you guys. Hope you need anything, and and the free HR is okay. Even if you are just trying to do show face, but they are always happy, trying to see somebody who is ready to listen to them, and this helps a lot. I've had so many times they come to me and tell me that HR, even somebody that is looking for house, that is not even relating to workplace. HR, I'm looking for house in this. And I, okay, don't worry. I have numbers of agents in this place. I can help you and get the number. And I was okay. They call this person. And before you know, they also come with all any other their burdens, what they feel. HR, this person, is doing most of the work, and things like this. It helps the company. It helps you. You get a lot of feedbacks directly from them. And you also have to implement organizational change, because you are the driver of this, and you are the one taking the initiative, to implement these changes. By the time you plan, this is what is going on. Okay, these are the places that we need to develop. These are the places that we need to change. And this helps a lot in mitigating the impact of burnout, and cultivating a healthier and more resilient workforce. So we also have to look at how to measure well-being. It is actually very important, because without this, measuring all your implementations, it's not going to yield fruitful, results. And there are a lot of factors that we have to consider while actually choosing our KPIs that we will use to measure this. Did you know there are a lot of KPIs we have, especially in HR analytics, and but we cannot do everything, so that we don't put much workload on yourself. But we have to put things that are relevant to measuring your employee well-being. And when we want, you have to look at your organization size. You know, Large organization, they may face more complexity in gathering large data. There are some organization, there are so many, and it's a whole lot, gathering data among different locations, different departments. While smaller organizations, they may have issues collecting anonymous data. And especially when dealing with data, we have to also be careful, because most people don't want you to expose them to this is what I'm actually facing in the organization. But they believe that the best way in also handling it. And we also look at the industry. Some industries, they differ, and you have to be specific and know how you're going to visualize your data, and how you'll be able to tell the story, especially in different places. You're combining different staffs, you're combining short-term workers, you're combining contractors. You have some industries that you have, okay, this place is especially manufacturing industry, that they hardly take breaks. They run every day from Monday to Friday. Some even work Saturday, some even work on Sundays. And I know there are some lot of questions, asking how even can each of these organizations, how best can they do, especially looking at hybrid work, because these days, this generation, we have people, by the time they come, they'll tell you, do you do work from home? And if they are doing work from home from their previous organization, and they are coming to you, they also want to continue in that. They don't want to leave their 2 days off, 3 days to the office, and now coming back to an organization where you're going to be doing 5 days. And by the time your closing hour is not even your closing hour, till 9 p.m., you're still in the office. So you have to also consider the industry that you are in, so that you'll be able to measure effectively. Then we also look at the leading and lagging indicators. An organization should include the leading, which is a proactive means, and the lagging is like a reactive indicator means in their KPI dashboard. To ensure that they are aware of employees' health and well-being challenges that are already present, as well as tracking emerging issues. An example of a leading indicator could be the number of work-related injuries. And an example of a lagging indicator is the employee turnover rate. And this is really critical. Indeed. Then we also have indicators of the outcomes versus the drivers. Organizations, they need to consider both metrics that measure the outcome of the well-beings as well as those measuring the drivers of the well-beings. KPIs that is measuring the drivers of well-beings may be more difficult to track, especially, and this will, it will require surveying employees a lot. And there are other factors too, but we will just actually keep to this. And and we are trying to see how best we can to measure these KPIs. And first one, we look at KPIs to meet a minimum reporting standard. Especially there is always a minimum set so that for you to be able to measure it, it just gives you a sample, a short sample to say, okay, this is the injury that related from related work health stress. After you've taken your measurement and your data and you look, oh, these are the results. So percent of this person, resulted from employees related ill health due to the workload the person is facing. Then why we have KPIs to measure the business case. These KPIs are aligned to the factors in the business case for investing in business for the investing in the employee well-being. Then also we look at KPIs to reflect the underlying drivers of health. This measures the employee's health and the well-being in the workplace. Example, we have negative workplace behavior. We also have presence of negative work, the role ambiguity, the sense of belonging. You want to know the sense of belonging of employees in the organization. You also want to know the behavior. How does this person behave by the time you give this person this role, this engagement? So all these are to be actually considered, especially when designing your KPIs. And we also have an example from BITC. This is an example of a dashboard that we can use to track our data. So you can see the colored code. We have the business case, we have the minimum reporting standard in color blue, and we also have the underlying drivers of health. So based on what we've said before, so these are, trying to find the outcome and also the metrics. Then you also look at the trends, use it to measure, okay, in this quarter and versus the last quarter, these are the social percent of people that are being affected due to the employee well-being. What we've taken, social quarter, this percent of people fell ill. This social percent of people, we have presenteeism, we have absenteeism, we have people which also fell under leavism. So these indicators will help you to be able to know the category of people that falls under these metrics, these outcomes, and how you can best improve them. So we said we looked at the outcome then, we looked at attritions, we looked at absenteeism, yes, and presenteeism. We also look at retention. I also look at attraction, and they also look at the employee well-being outcomes. So this is really important. And when we are looking, we want to look at some guiding principles on how to implement this. One, we said ensure that the vendors support them in collecting data sources. So you have to set up a cross-functional group to agree with the data source that company will use. You also have to, establish a regular reporting cadence. How well do you want to report employee well-being in the organization? Are you going to do it quarterly? Do you want to do it annually so that you can know that there is somebody that is accountable in the organization for this, for employee well-being in the organization? And most times the HR are always meant to champion this because we take care of our staffs, and we also do the strategy. Okay, so for this year, this is what we want to do. How we want to engage the employee. So you have to also now have plans on employee well-being. in your plans. You have to schedule, okay, so every quarter we have to measure this. And so you know that we have somebody that is responsible for this. Then you also have to build leadership accountability. So you have to engage senior leaders, you have to engage senior stakeholders. You cannot do it on your own. So you have to have people to support you. You have to have managers that you're going to train that will help you carry out those functions in each of the departments. Then you also have to show the impact of the work. When you send out survey forms, you want to know how an employee is feeling about the workload, how he's feeling about his health, how he's feeling about the work culture. They are giving you this information because they are believing that you are going to do something about all these complaints they are giving to you. If an employee is complaining in his form, is feeling that, okay, oh, the toilet, there's not always water in the toilet. Anytime I want to go to toilet, is it that tissue and I'm not satisfied with using tissue alone, I also need water. And in the next quarter, you're bringing in another form and nothing was done to the previous complaints. He or she, by the time he's giving you feedback, he won't even give you with his whole heart. And we usually have this, we usually experience this, especially when we are doing exit interview. How best do you think we can improve? And they will tell you, no, they are fine. You are doing well. The manager was good. The manager was that, and the manager was this. Because when they told you, they gave you all their complaints, you did not do anything about it. You sent out surveys, they told you their mind, you did not do anything about it. And even if you did something about it, the the senior leaders did not do anything about it. They won't be happy also to give you any further information that you need. Then you have to now set guardrails that are achievable and relevant to your business. So, when you're choosing your KPIs, you have to choose what is feasible and what is achievable. You don't pick something that you know that is not relevant and you can't even achieve it. It looks so big to you, all because you are trying to implement something. But you have to just start little by little, especially when you are implementing things like this, when you are bringing it new. I always advise that you don't just start on the bigger scale. Try to start from the small scale, measure it, how, and also how is this going, so that you can know how to do continuous improvement. Okay, what are the things, what are the KPIs, what are the metrics we can tweak to make what we've started to be better? So these are, some guiding principles that we can put in our mind, especially when trying to design our KPIs for implementing employee well-being, especially in supporting or eradicating burnout in our organization. And so we want to look at how do you implement this strategic step that you are taking. First, we said identify the goals and priorities. So you have to set the groundwork. And this includes defining an organization employee well-being. You are diagnosing the maturity of its current practice. You're also defining the concrete and measurable objectives that you're trying to accomplish. And this is always ideally driven by the business rather solely by the HR. So when I tell you that, and as an HR person, you cannot do it on your own. You have to engage senior people, you have to engage stakeholders, in driving this. And you also have to, take inventory of the steps your organization is taking and how effectively they can be. So we also have to set initiatives. So you have to set initiatives that will address the root cause and the outcomes relating to employees' health. You're in an organization that there is not an HMO. I think it's the best thing. You have to engage the organization, the stakeholder, the senior leader, that we have to implement the steps. And you have to give them reasons that you're doing this. Because if you don't give them reasons, they are not going to support you. And I know that I've worked with some partners, and by the time I bring in initiatives and it's going to cost money, they will tell you that they are not ready to spend this big money. What they want you to do is the little that you have, especially maybe if you're using technology and it is free, you have free version. You want to know how best are you managing even the free version that you have. Then before they know that, okay, this is something they really want to invest in. I remember initiating technology for clocking, and also to for people to input their timesheet. And they say, this thing, okay, go and see what we do. I was trying to move from Excel that they were using to technology, and okay, let us see how it goes. And by the time I did, I showed them, okay, this is what we are able to achieve. And they say, okay, let us see. And before you know, they'll continue to buy the idea, okay, this is good. We've seen what this has been able to achieve. And it's okay, let us invest our money in it. Because if you don't take care of the employee and when there is burnout in the organization, it affects the business because people won't put in their full energy. Okay, don't let me say full energy, even their minds to what they are doing. Then you see them, the employees will be making mistakes upon mistakes. Why? Because they are tired. So you also have to, implement track and also to make sustainable actions. So once an organization has selected some, these initiatives you've done, a structured approach will help to effectively deploy them. And there are also some considerations for successful implementation of. Well, first, you must interact. You must interact. You must talk to your people, your employees. Okay, you find out what are the challenges you have to do. You have to then you also set the time. Okay, this so from this time to this time, this is what we want to achieve. Then you have somebody that will be accountable. If not, everybody will be doing whatsoever they want to do. And by the time they give reports, everything is going to be scattered because you don't have somebody that you can hang on to, hold on to that. You are the one championing this. So you have that, then you also have to choose clear and memorable KPIs to help you stay accountable and also to able to monitor the progress. Most of us we know how to do dashboards, we know how to visualize our data. You have to put, okay, so number of person is facing um presentism. This person is on leave and is still working. So you have to be able to put something that are measurable, that you know within yourself, that as an organization and even as an individual, so that you don't carry a burden that you cannot finish and you yourself you're going to get overwhelmed, and you also join through the stress that you are trying to eradicate. So, bringing this to a conclusion, there are a lot of ways we can help the employees. There are a lot of ways we can bring good culture environment to the organization. There's no organization that can proudly come and say that we've eradicated burnout totally. We've eradicated stress completely from the organization. You have to take a step. And in taking these steps, you have to follow it truly by setting, measurable standards that you can meet as individuals. We want to make our employees to be happy. We also want them to also have fulfillment in whatsoever they are doing. We don't want employees leaving home, leaving for home, feeling stressed, and by the time they get home, they are also opening their laptops. We should try as much as possible to make sure that anything work ends in the office, unless you have a challenge that will make you actually to carry that work home and it is understandable among all the levels. that really, okay, I need to do this. Even the employee that is working knows within himself that, okay, I myself, I need to carry this work on to complain due to the deadline, due to what is on ground. Not possibly doing it maybe out of forcefulness that no, you must do this. So I am trying to employ we that take care of our employees, that we believe in the betterment of that we deal with the betterment of cultures in organization. How best can we manage each of these policies that we've set down? When it's time for leave, every employee, please go on leave. Pass every work you're doing, do a handshake, proper handshake to the person that is taking over. I will tell you, in my current place of work, I took a leave, especially December. By the time I came back, the people that didn't invite say, this is not the way you are when we employed you. You're now having stomach, you're having your body, you are now big, you are that we have spoiled you, you are enjoying the money. I said, which money? It's not that, but it's because I have a place where I now have peace of mind. I have a place where I can be able to share ideas and they are willing to buy it. I'm having a place that I'm learning. I may not, yeah, I know that I was employed for this. Even if they are adding other roles to my portfolios, I can willfully take it because I know that this is going to benefit me as a person and it will also improve my knowledge in this area or in this department of the organization. And I'm also willing to take on other job functions. So this is what we want among every employees in the organization. Well, they are willing on their own to be able to say, I want to take on this role, where they are willing or happy that, okay, there is promotion in this organization, there is there's communication, there are channels of communication, and our voices are being heard. There's a balance between making sure that you are putting the interest of the organization at heart, and you're also putting the interest of the people at heart. You're trying to create a balance and you're trying to make sure that everybody is fulfilled and everybody is productive at the end of the day. So I think at this point, I'm going to stop here. I know we cannot end it all. There are lots and there are a lot of issues. So at this point, I don't know if there's anybody that have question and if there's anybody that is also willing to share more contribution or willing to share his or her experience or give a testimony of how the person faced burnout in the organization and how the person was able to overcome it. Trying to see. Okay, we have Stella. I said the idea of having specification for break fast is really achievable. In my opinion, is rather organization specific. There's several possibility. No department or unit share same time. I feel what's obtainable as enshrined in the letter of employment is to ensure every staff observe every. Yeah, I said that. You know, it's not. It's not. No, there are some organizations that do it. Once it's time for break, they usually have this alarm. Bam, break. Everybody goes to break at that same time. But you cannot have it in every industry. If you remember where we say you have to be industry specific, not everybody can actually go on break at that time. Yeah, the aspect of work-life balance, we all know that the nature of work hasn't made this achievable. Hence, work-life integration is being advised. Yeah, work-life balance, it's really something we actually need to, to really sit down with and have a collective idea. I know sometimes we all have seminars, especially for us that belong into the CIPM and things like this, where we have seminars and we also have discussion. I feel if there is a possible way of integrating a general policy for HR where work-life balance can actually be implemented. I know it's going to be a long way, and for this thing to be achieved, everybody has to be on board, and it's really a lot actually, and that's why I said we have to really know how to find our way into the heart of every stakeholders. We need to find our way to the senior stakeholders, really. All right, thank you, Stella. Yeah, thank you, Jane Francis. Don't know if you have any question, any suggestion, any other contribution to, or if somebody have a testimony of how he or she was able to overcome burnout too. We really want to hear that. Okay, yes, Omoba.
Hello, good evening, everyone, and thank you, sir, for your presentation. Thank you very much for all the breakdowns and the different little nuggets that you have shared. I just wanted to also share that sometimes, the stress and the burnout is actually caused by the individuals themselves, not the organization. The organization would have a lot of things in place to deal with ensuring that most of their staff members don't get stressed out, don't get burnt out, they put as best as they can. But because this person or those individuals are putting a burden on themselves, either because they're in competition with someone, consciously or unconsciously, or because they want to be the favorite, or because they're just they're just those kind of people that, they're so much into the work that they do that they don't know where to draw the line. I have to finish this. Oh, I must do that. I must achieve that. I must, some people are just so focused on being high flyers that they forget to look after themselves. They might not be conscious of it, but I just wanted us to also know, particularly as HR professionals, that you would have some people like that. And you'll see when they're getting a burnout or when they are melting down and all of that. And people say, oh, you actually work in an organization that has a lot of things in place, HMO, EAP, and all of that. Why didn't you do that? It's because they are actually, not checking themselves. So not all organizations will you have bosses that are bad, that will
Yeah.
say, when you get home, I would send you an email at 3 a.m., you must answer it. I will send you, there was something that was posted on one of our HR platforms. I can't remember where I read it from. And it said that the boss said, it was almost like a disclaimer or something. I think it was our prof that posted it, that the boss sent an email to our staff and put a disclaimer to say, I am sending you this email at my own convenience. Please feel free to respond when it is convenient for you. So the person gets the email sent at 3 a.m., but there's already a disclaimer that, yes, as the boss, I have sent you this at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night when you were still sleeping. But hey, that's when it was convenient for me. Do you understand? And please don't feel compelled to respond at this 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. that you went for a pee and you saw the email and something. It already puts a disclaimer. So you can see that in that environment, the bosses are conscious not to stress their staffs or not to put them under pressure or anything. However, you will see some staff that at 3 a.m. Go, they will answer that in. Not because the boss has requested it, but because they're just trying to prove to the boss that, no, I'm on point, I'm working, even though you have put this disclaimer, but I want to, do you understand? So they are unconsciously competing with themselves to maybe show off, or maybe to let them know that they're very competent and capable, or maybe because, they're just the kind of person they are. They always want to be on top of the game at all times. So we also need to be looking at those people as well when we're in an organization. I remember I worked somewhere, of course, it wasn't in Nigeria, but where I worked abroad then, our computer has been done in such a way that when you're working for 3 hours, straight, non-stop, and the computer can see, I think it's 3 hours, either 2 hours or 3 hours, I can't remember. And the computer knows that there's activity going on. It will then come up with a warning that you need to take a break. It will just come onto your screen. You need to take a break. And it will give you that warning twice. And, that's just for you to quickly wrap up, whatever it is that you're maybe in the middle of something. And if you do not, the next time, your computer will go blank. It will just come down and it will go blank. And it will not come up until the next 15 minutes, no matter what you do to it. That's another style that they have used, but of course, Western world and all of that. But I'm just saying that there are certain ways that employers can put things in place for employees, but employees will still not, put themselves in a situation where there's work-life integration for themselves. I thought I'd just, share that. Thank you very much. And well done, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I'll testify. All the places I've worked, either the partners or the MD, they're always working every night. Sometimes when I wake up 2 a.m., I'll be like, is this man not sleeping? But I know that when I get to the office, that is when I can reply in any of their messages or do whatever they want me to do. All right, so do you also have another person who have testimony as he or she was able to overcome this?
Thank you so much. Thank
All
you.
right.
Excellent presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's a good time. Let's unmute and let's celebrate our facilitator, Sheo Odumusi, for an excellent job. Well done. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Seun. Thank you, Seun.
Thank you very
We
much.
appreciate you.
Welcome, sir. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night rest.